Welcome to my channel Limelight Leaks. Please share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for latest updates.
Hello everyone. I'm Tom Smith. I really like that you're here with me today. If you watched a TV show called Misfit Garage, you'll remember Tom Smith. He was a funny, fast-talking car guy who made us laugh while he fixed cool cars. But when the show stopped, Tom went away from TV. So where did he go and why did the show stop? Here's what really happened when Misfit Garage ended. Misfit Garage was a popular TV show on Discovery Channel. It started as a sideshow from another hit show called Fast and Loud. The show was about a new group of car builders, Tom Smith, Jordan Butler, Thomas Weeks, and Scott McMillan. They came together to start their own car shop called Fired Up Garage in Dallas, Texas. Fans of Fast and Loud already knew Tom and Jordan from their time at Gas Monkey Garage, which was the first garage on that other show. But after both guys got fired, they decided to turn this bad thing into something good. Along with Weeks and McMillan, they made a new team and started a fresh business that became the main part of Misfit Garage. The show let viewers see their crazy car builds, tough problems, and big personalities. Misfit Garage started on October 13, 2014, and it didn't take long for the show to get lots of fans who really loved it. A company called Pilgrim Studios made the show. The series had some big names working behind the cameras. The main producers were Craig Pelagian, Eddie Rotor, and Richard Rawlings, who also made Fast and Loud. Craig Kaufman from Discovery Channel was also a producer. With its special mix of car knowledge, funny jokes, and underdog spirit, Misfit Garage was different from other car TV shows. It ran well for 6 seasons, winning over viewers who loved its raw energy and crazy moments. But in 2018, the last season played on TV, and after that, everything got quiet. Fans kept waiting for news about a new season, but it never came. Discovery Channel never officially said the show was cancelled, but they also never said it was coming back. Now, years later, it's clear that Misfit Garage has ended. This sudden quiet left many fans sad and wondering why such a popular show would disappear without any explanation. To understand why it ended, we have to go back to how it started. Before they had their own show, Tom and Jordan were part of the first Gas Monkey Garage team under Richard Rawlings. Richard Rawlings was the flashy, fast-talking business owner at the center of Fast and Loud. He played a big role in what happened next. He was the one who decided to fire Tom and Jordan, which shocked many viewers. At first, the reasons weren't clear, and neither Tom nor Jordan said much about it in public. They just called it a disagreement and moved on. But fans couldn't help wondering what really happened behind the scenes, and whether their firing had more to do with setting up a spin-off show than any real drama. According to a report by TMZ, the breaking point came during a touching moment at the Gas Monkey Garage. A young fan who had cystic fibrosis had visited the shop and wanted to take a picture with one of Richard's most special cars, a fancy Rolls-Royce. Tom and Jordan, wanting to give the fan a special memory, let him pose with the car. It was a kind and nice thing to do, something any good person would do. However, Richard didn't see it that way. He was reportedly upset and told the fan to step away from the car. Tom, who was known for speaking his mind, didn't hold back. He supposedly said some strong words back, which Richard thought was rude. Not long after, both Tom and Jordan were shown the door. It all happened quickly, and fans were shocked. On screen, Tom and Jordan were the funny guys of Fast and Loud. They were always pulling pranks, making sarcastic comments, and adding humor to what could have been just another car repair show. Many viewers loved them for it. They kept things fun and exciting. But Richard later explained that their behavior was becoming a problem behind the scenes. He said their jokes and tricks were getting in the way of work and affecting the overall feeling of the shop. From his point of view, it was no longer fun. It was becoming disruptive. So, Richard eventually decided he'd had enough and let Tom and Jordan go. But that wasn't the end of their story. Not even close. Instead of disappearing, they saw it as a fresh start. They teamed up to create something of their own, Misfit Garage. This new show gave them the freedom to build cars their way without anyone telling them to calm down or hold back their personalities. When Tom Jordan, Thomas Weeks, and Scott McMillan joined forces, Discovery Channel quickly saw the potential and signed them on. But here's where things get really interesting. Many fans believe that Tom and Jordan's firing from Fast and Loud wasn't entirely real. Some think it may have been planned all along, possibly as a setup to launch a new show. Evidence points to a behind-the-scenes plan. For one, Richard Rawlings, the same man who fired them, was later revealed to be both a producer on Misfit Garage and the landlord of the fired-up garage property. That raised eyebrows. It made some people wonder if the whole setup was part of a bigger TV strategy to create drama, generate buzz, and launch a spin-off that would hook viewers with even more intensity. If true, Misfit Garage wasn't just a show about misfits making cars. It was also a carefully planned piece of entertainment, born out of scripted conflict and smart production planning. Whether real or staged, it worked. The show captured attention, kept audiences entertained for years, and earned its place in reality TV history. What made Misfit Garage even more controversial was the growing belief that the garage featured on the show might not have been real at all. The location used for filming was always closed to the public with a large sign outside warning people that it was an active film set. This led many viewers to suspect that Misfit Garage wasn't a genuine reality series. It was more like a scripted show dressed up to look real, similar in spirit to sitcoms like The Office or Modern Family. This idea of a stage production also called into question the highly publicized rivalry between Gas Monkey Garage and Fired Up Garage. Many fans came to believe the tension between the two shops was manufactured for the cameras. Still, that didn't stop people from enjoying it. In fact, the rivalry became one of the show's most entertaining aspects. Audiences loved the drama, the competition, and the sense of two teams constantly trying to outdo one another. For a while, it felt as if both shows were part of a larger interconnected garage universe. Despite its popularity, Misfit Garage always felt like it had a limited shelf life. Being a spin-off of Fast and Loud, it relied heavily on the original show's momentum and fan base. So, when Fast and Loud came to an end, Misfit Garage found itself without the support structure it once had. But the end of the main series wasn't the only reason the spin-off faded away. When the final episode of Misfit Garage aired in 2018, the cast never imagined it would be their last. Everyone expected the show to return for another season, but months passed and then years without any word from Discovery Channel. Fans began to grow restless and started asking questions. When one curious fan reached out to Thomas Weeks on Twitter to ask about the delay, he replied bluntly, "Ask Discovery." So, why did Misfit Garage really end? A combination of issues quietly piled up behind the scenes. One major factor was the cost of production. Since the garage wasn't an actual working business open to the public, everything viewers saw had to be carefully planned and staged. From the cars and tools to the parts and even the clients, everything needed to be arranged in advance. This meant the show required more money and effort to produce compared to other car reality shows that filmed in functioning garages. At the same time, viewership began to decline. Even though the show still had a solid fan base, the numbers weren't growing. And in the world of television, even a popular show can get cut if the ratings no longer justify the expense. Discovery may have looked at the downward trend and decided to quietly pull the plug rather than risk further investment. Then there was the issue of the show's reputation. Over time, Misfit Garage began to lose favor among some car enthusiasts. Critics pointed to the team's often unconventional methods when working on classic cars, calling some of the repairs sloppy or rushed. Others took issue with the over-the-top behavior and forced drama, feeling that it hurt the credibility of the builds. Online reviews began to reflect that shift, with fans who once supported the show now voicing frustration or disappointment. All of these challenges combined to create an uphill battle for the show's future. In the end, it seemed that Misfit Garage became more trouble than it was worth for Discovery Channel. Without any formal announcement, the show simply faded away, leaving fans with questions and a sense of unfinished business. But even the silence spoke louder than words. Misfit Garage was over. Even though it's gone, Misfit Garage left behind a unique legacy. It gave us unforgettable personalities, crazy builds, and wild stories. Whether it was real or not, it made us laugh, cheer, and dream about what could be done with a beat-up old car and a bit of grit. And for that, fans will always remember it. But who exactly is Tom Smith? Tom Smith, the man behind the mystery. Among all the people working on the show Misfit Garage, one name stood out quickly. Tom Smith. Tom wasn't just a great mechanic. He became the fan favorite almost overnight. People loved watching him because he was not only smart and good with cars, but he also had a loud, funny, and unpredictable personality. Whenever Tom was on screen, you could count on something exciting or hilarious to happen. He brought energy and humor to the show, making him one of its most entertaining stars. But something strange happened after the show ended. Tom disappeared. He was no longer in the public eye. Fans who had enjoyed watching him week after week began to ask the same question. Where did Tom Smith go? What happened to him after Misfit Garage ended? To really understand Tom's story, we need to go back to the beginning. Before fame, the TV show, or even his first car, Tom was always a smart kid. Even before he turned 10, he had already won a state spelling bee competition. This showed he had a sharp mind and a great memory. But while he was good with words, that wasn't what he truly loved. What really grabbed his heart were cars. Tom's love for cars started when he began helping out at his uncle's garage. He was naturally curious, always wanted to learn how things worked, and was willing to get his hands dirty. This early experience sparked a lifelong passion for working with engines and fixing up vehicles. But like many kids with lots of energy and not enough supervision, Tom sometimes got into trouble. In fact, when he was just 10 years old, he took a Pontiac Groundville for a joyride. It wasn't just a quick trip around the block. He ended up crashing into a police car. That was his first run-in with the law, and it happened at an age when most kids are still learning how to ride a bicycle. After this wild episode, Tom's family realized he needed some guidance and structure. So when he turned 12, they sent him to live with his grandmother. This turned out to be an important step in his life. His grandma provided the stability he needed. He helped around the house, focused on school, and slowly started to grow up. He stayed with her all through high school. Once he graduated, Tom decided it was time to get serious about his future. He moved back to Ohio and opened his first auto shop. This was the beginning of his professional journey in the world of cars. It was a big step, and it showed how committed he was to turning his passion into a real career. While working on cars, Tom met someone who would change his life, Carl Parsons. Carl was a master mechanic, someone who really understood how to get the most power and performance out of any engine. Carl took Tom under his wing. With Carl's help, Tom didn't just improve. He became a top-level mechanic, learning the finer details of the trade. But cars weren't Tom's only love. At the same time, he was working on engines. He was also chasing another dream, comedy. Tom is also a stand-up comedian. He traveled from city to city, performing on stage and making people laugh with his funny stories and quick comebacks. He is talented in a way most people aren't. He could fix a broken engine during the day and then make a whole room full of people laugh at night. While his careers in cars and comedy kept him busy, Tom also had a family life. He got married and had a child. His wife was working to become a nurse, and Tom worked multiple jobs to support the family. One of the most unusual jobs he had was working on TV towers, where he even invented a special hoist system using a fuel-injected engine. This invention showed how creative and mechanically skilled he was. Eventually, Tom's love for cars pulled him back to Texas. He spent 4 years working at Driver's Edge, where he specialized in hot rods and high-performance vehicles. His skills and creativity made him stand out, and soon people started noticing him, including the producers of the TV show Fast and Loud. Tom joined the show as a part of the Gas Monkey Garage crew. His time on Fast and Loud was anything but dull. He didn't just blend into the background. He lit up the screen. His bold behavior and unique humor made him a fan favorite. People loved how unpredictable and lively he was. But this strong personality also caused problems. Gas Monkey Garage had a strict way of doing things, and Tom's free-spirited nature didn't always fit in. Eventually, he was fired from the show. But that firing led to a new opportunity. After leaving Gas Monkey Garage, Tom teamed up with others to start their own show. Misfit Garage followed their adventures fixing up cars and trying to prove themselves in the custom car world. Fans loved Misfit Garage, especially because of Tom. He brought the same humor, wild energy, and impressive skills that made him popular in the first place. His stories were always over the top, and his passion for cars never faded. But then, after the show's last season aired in 2018, Tom disappeared from the spotlight. Just like the show quietly ended, Tom seemed to quietly step away from public life. There were no more interviews, appearances, or updates. Fans were left wondering what he was doing and why he left the world of TV. No one knows for sure what caused Tom to step back. Maybe he wanted a quieter life. Maybe he was tired of the TV world and wanted to focus on his family or personal projects. What's clear is that Tom Smith is much more than just a mechanic on a show. He is a creative, funny, and passionate person who lived a full and exciting life before, during, and likely after his time on TV. So, what's Tom Smith really up to these days? Where is he now? And how has his life unfolded since Misfit Garage came to an end? Life after Misfit Garage. For many fans of Misfit Garage, Tom Smith was the heart and soul of the show. With his wild sense of humor, quick comebacks, and non-stop energy, Tom was more than just a mechanic. He was the life of the party. Every time he appeared on screen, he brought laughter and excitement, making even the most complicated car repairs fun to watch. His jokes, one-liners, and larger-than-life personality made him a fan favorite and gave the show a unique charm that viewers couldn't get enough of. Tom isn't just a guy who knew how to turn a wrench. He was the show's comic engine, keeping things lively when the pressure of fixing up cars could have easily made things too serious. Many fans tuned in just to see what hilarious thing he'd say next. He had a way of making you feel like you were right there in the garage sharing laughs and greasy hands with the crew. But in recent years, some fans have been left wondering, where did Tom go? Why isn't he in the spotlight anymore? Before diving into his life after the show, did you know that the name Fired Up Garage actually has personal roots for Tom? Ever since he was a kid, Tom dreamed of owning a garage called FNU Garage. While that name wasn't exactly TV friendly, the idea stuck with him. So when the time came to name the shop for Misfit Garage, he found a creative solution. Fired Up Garage, a clever way to bring his childhood dream to life. While the garage gave him a platform to show off his mechanical skills, Misfit Garage also gave Tom another chance to shine through comedy. What many fans didn't know at first was that Tom was also a professional stand-up comedian. Even while filming the show, he continued performing at comedy and improv clubs, juggling two very different but equally demanding careers. For Tom, making people laugh wasn't just something he did for fun. It was part of who he was. When the pandemic hit in 2020 and many shows, events, and public gatherings were put on hold, Tom didn't slow down. While others stayed quiet, Tom found ways to keep entertaining. He performed in live comedy sessions, sometimes online, sometimes in small venues when it was safe, and brought much-needed laughter to audiences during a tough time. That period only deepened his love for comedy. And since then, he's poured even more energy into it. But just because he's been focusing more on comedy doesn't mean he's left the car world behind. In fact, he's still very much hands-on with engines, custom builds, and muscle cars. He continues to work on car projects, both his own and for clients, and often shares updates with his fans online. His Facebook page, where he goes by Tom Smith the Car Guy, is filled with videos, photos, and funny posts from the garage. Whether it's customizing a hot rod or fine-tuning an old-school engine, Tom is still doing what he loves. He hasn't traded in his tools. He's just added a microphone. But there's another side to Tom that not everyone knows about. Behind the laughs and the horsepower, he has a big heart. One of his passions outside of cars and comedy is helping animals, especially dogs in need. He's been involved in dog rescue work for years, helping to transport and care for dogs that need safe homes. It's a quieter side of him, far from the spotlight, but it shows just how deeply he cares about making the world a better place, not just for people, but for animals, too. And just when fans were beginning to think Tom might stay behind the scenes for good, he dropped a surprise. In a recent post on social media, he hinted that he might be working on a brand new automotive show, one focused on mods, custom builds, and of course, plenty of humor. Nothing official has been announced yet, but that little tease was enough to get fans buzzing. The idea of Tom leading his own show, bringing together his knowledge of cars and his love of comedy, has people excited. It wouldn't just be another car show. It would be a Tom Smith experience. With Tom Smith, you get a show where you not only learn how to rebuild a classic car, but you're also laughing the entire time. He has the rare ability to teach and entertain all at once, to make even the greasiest jobs feel like a good time. With his unique blend of talent, personality, and heart, a solo show from Tom could be something truly special, something that stands out in the crowded world of automotive TV. Even without a new show on the air, Tom is far from gone. He remains active and engaged with his fans through social media. Whether he's posting a funny story, sharing a video from the garage, or highlighting one of his rescue dogs, Tom is still very much present and still very much Tom. His followers love that they can continue to connect with him, hear his jokes, and see his latest projects. He hasn't stepped away from the spotlight so much as has created his own space on his own terms. Tom Smith has always marched to the beat of his own drum. He doesn't follow trends, he sets them. Whether he's under the hood of a muscle car, cracking up a crowd at a comedy club, or helping a dog find a forever home, he does it all with heart and humor. Fans may miss seeing him on Misfit Garage, but the truth is Tom is still doing what he loves every single day. And maybe that new show is right around the corner. So if you're wondering what happened to Tom Smith, the answer is simple. He never went anywhere. He just kept moving forward, fixing, laughing, helping, and dreaming. And if the past is any clue, whatever comes next for Tom will be just as unforgettable as what came before.